How to get the best results in multi-class racing. I recently did a few, and this particular one gives a good idea what you should do, what you should not do, how to compete when you're absolutely not the fastest on track but still get a good result, how to keep control on your car on longer stints, what you need to do before getting into these races, and some overall knowledge on how to basically win in a GT3 car on multi-class. I've been sim racing already for multiple years and I do not have a lot of time to get into a lot of races, but most of the time I do get some decent results because of these tactics. Let's get into it. Now these are the Super 60 series. You need a gold safety rating for this, but what I usually do in the practice, you get 4 minutes, and over there I take that outlap in practice and I immediately drive that outlap and see how the pit entry is, so I can see that when we need to do a pit stop. And this was qualifying, and yeah, you really need to push the car to get the tires up into the perfect window, and in the last lap you can do a quick lap time. Now this was a 2:03, not super fast but competitive enough. Now if you're like me and you don't have a lot of time on your hands, I normally just practice a few laps on this track and then immediately search up an online session. If I cannot get into a proper qualifying, I will just follow the field, and that will learn me 10 times quicker than just doing pointless laps by myself. Now on this race start I'm being really careful and I'm sticking to the inside. I really don't want to get into any collisions or whatever. We're on 3 wide here, we have the inside line, but over here I mistaked a little bit, and the guy on the outside of me, he's really not joking around. He wants to win this duel, and it's also going to be his biggest problem in the end of the race, because we will see some horrible incidents with this man. So yeah, stick around for that as well. Over here I'm braking early, there's a lot of cars in front, he's just pushing it in and making contact. I just don't think that is a clean way to do it. I would always try to avoid contact. But anyways, he's in front and he was a really quick driver as well. Now we have the 5th lap already. I'm cutting out all the boring pieces, and this was a small moment, alright? And this Chevrolet, this freaking Corvette, what a legend. You can see that he had a way better exit, but you can see how I'm overtaking him on the straight because of my setup. Let's talk about setup in a few moments, but I let him win this duel because he was approaching me so fast that I'm picking my fights and let him go. But I mean, I need to chase him down, then we're gonna be both a bit quicker, or at least I'm gonna be quicker. But if I'm gonna be in duel with him so early on in the race, you only can get into contact and all that stuff. So let's talk about the setup. So on qualifying, 9 out of 10 times, I will just pick my level 3 or level 4 high downforce setup for optimal lap time. And if I'm confident in the car, then in the race I will pick a mid downforce setup. Those setups give me more straight line speed, and whenever I'm on a straight, I know I'm gonna have an edge over them, as you could see on the Chevy on that video. But these are a bit trickier to drive and it's a little bit slower on the lap times, but I just like to have a little bit of a straight line advantage. So, and if you wanted to tune that out, I have a bunch of videos on this, but what it basically means, more rear wing means more rear ride height. And when you have less wing, you're gonna have less ride height. Now, I have 3 level 2s on my new store, but I have also complete packages like you see with this one, levels. Have a look in the store. Let's continue with the race. Now having a safe setup is very important, that's why I have different levels. But look at the steering behavior of this car. You see that fighting with the steering? That's great if you can have that skill, but will you be having that skill throughout the race? As you get fatigued, as you get more laps under your belt, you're getting more fatigue maybe, so let's see how this ends with that Chevy. And then we have the multi-class tips. So let's talk about it. If you are on a hypercar, use the flashlights. That really helps, the flashing the lights. It's really great. And as for a GT3 car, you want to make your driving lines as predictable as possible and assume a little bit of impatience of these cars that's going to overtake you. And just be predictable. They can see, it's like you're standing still. We're also going to see that in the next clip, how that looks from their perspective, but just be predictable and be a gentleman, you know, give them a little bit of space if they're on a real fight. From their perspective, so that's me in front, look how ridiculously fast they can overtake. Now, I just kept it a little bit hard on the inside so he can overtake me properly, but he needs to overtake the whole GT3 car field, so let's have a look. And I think this guy in particular takes a lot of risk, but also these other GT3 cars doing this really well. So here's the Chevy. That guy overtook us a few laps earlier, but you can see over here as well. And yeah, I mean, and as soon as these hypers accelerate, you know, these GT3 cars, they're just standing still, right? And also these guys just keep on the left, stay on the left, and basically no drama, right? So that's, I think that's really important if you're in a GT3 car. And if you're in a hypercar, flash the lights so we can see that you're passing us by like a rocket ship. Now here a slow-mo image on another hypercar overtaking me, but look at the left, what is this yellow banana into the wall? That was the Chevy that was super quick and was overtaking us, and he's now finishing the race. Now let's have a look at that. Basically, if you're using a default setup for the Chevy, it has enormous backer distances on the rear. That's basically the reason why this car is so uncontrollable. So yeah. But kudos for him driving that car, right? Now this next scenario, I need to overtake this Ferrari. And this Ferrari, I'm already behind him for quite a long time. And I'm basically putting him under pressure. And because I have a little bit of a lower wing, I can actually get close to him. Obviously his exit wasn't that great. I don't think this overtake succeeds. But I want to tell you that I'm well below my limits of driving. Because like there's so much potential for mayhem with these hypercars and everything. I just want to keep control and have control in the car, and if I'm below my limit, I can actually execute every corner perfectly. And that's why I think safer car setups are more important than the aggressive fast ones. You can go for a very quick lap, but also understand that tires are wearing, your sharpness will and your focus will drop off, and you just cannot be on an edge of a knife the complete race. So we also gained a position from this Merc here. I don't know what happened to him, but the reason why we are gaining positions and having this good race is because there's just no drama for us, and we just can keep going, and we're gonna overtake this Ferrari at some point. It's also important to be patient, you know, especially with multi-class racing. You can see he's over braking here. Now we definitely can get close, so I think that we can overtake him here. But like I said, it's important to have some patience, because there's gonna be multi-class, there's gonna be other hypers trying to overtake, and there's gonna be all sorts of potential things going on over here as well. Oh, we do get blocked here. I don't quite remember. We have this hypercar joining the party. I think we touched a little bit, but over here, and yeah, again. So now I can actually overtake him. He's squeezing a little bit of contact. I think it's not that bad to have a little bit of this contact. I try to avoid it, but sometimes people don't want to avoid it, do they? Now on the Super 60 you can fuel save the whole race and maybe make it to the end. I don't really like that, but look at this. What is happening here? This was the BMW from the beginning of the race. What happened to him? A very aggressive setup, I think, and losing control. Now if this happens, you need to be careful while rejoining, and he's taken out the Lexus here. Let's just be quiet here and acknowledge this is something you really don't want to do. Yeah. But we are still in the race, and we just gained 2 positions because of this smart guy. And now we're on P6. At some point something's gonna happen again, but just know that when you're avoiding all this mayhem and you don't spin and you have control in the car, then you don't have these issues. You can just keep driving and finishing your races. Now, we're just gonna fast forward through this race because these laps are just focused laps. I'm not like, sometimes I just lose a little bit of finesse and I lose a little bit of focus. I increase my brake bias to the front every now and then when I feel the car starts to slip away underneath me. Sometimes that makes me a bit slower, but we are finishing the race in a split one lobby on the 5th position with basically no practice, and just because my car was safe, predictable, and that allows me to just do these races with ease and have patience, drive a little bit under your limit. Hey, and if you want to get a feel for these different levels of setup, check out this Porsche video where I explain how lap time is intertwined with setup and how to have some sort of a progression system. Click that video over here.